HQ.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Paul Niyama from Muscle Building Foods HQ.com. I'm a fitness specialist, which means that I help people get in shape just like you, and that could be from nutrition, from working out, and it could be from tips like in this video. Now, this video came about because I was in the gym yesterday and I saw two guys squatting, and it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in a while. I've probably seen weirder things back in the day as far as lifting. But first of all, these two guys, they were in a cage and they had the safety bar set way high, so they couldn't even get the depth that they wanted to. So every time they would try to go down, they would get close to depth and the bar would just be hitting those safety bars. So it would be boom, boom, boom. So they couldn't hit the depth. One other guy, other than the not hitting a depth, his form didn't look that bad. But his friend, his buddy, was totally jacked up. As soon as he put the weight off his back, and it was heavy for them, but they weren't lifting a lot of weight. I think they only had a plate on it. It shouldn't have been that heavy, but it was way too heavy for him. As soon as he took off that bar, he was like shaking, and then he would start going down, and then his hips would just stop. And then he would just go all the way down to that bar hit the thing. It was more like a good morning than a squat. His knees were caving in. I mean, there was like every problem you could think of, he had it. And then their next exercise was, I don't know what this was. It was like a combination between a front squat and a Zercher squat. They had their arms straight out like this. And they didn't have the bar on their shoulders. They had it like on their bicep. It was weird. And they were just holding the bar, and they had a plate, so it was sore. And they were just screaming, because if you've ever done a Zercher squat, which is where you put the bar on your forearm here, that thing is sore. And they had that thing on their, it was weird. I don't know who taught them that, why they were doing it like that, but don't be like that. Because that got me thinking to what I covered in my last video about how you should be going hard in the gym. You should be pushing yourself. You shouldn't be just doing low intensity work. You need to push yourself in order for the body to create a change. That stress that you create in that body is one of the best things for your results. With that said, I touched on it last week. You shouldn't be going so much intensity, lifting so much weight that your form gets so jacked up that you're at risk for hurting yourself. Because two things you don't want in the gym. You don't want to hurt yourself, and you don't want to not get results. So lifting with proper form is going to get you safer, and it's going to get you better results. So what are things that you need to look for when getting that proper technique? Well, first thing, before you could even lift heavy, you shouldn't even think about lifting heavy if you can't mobilize your body, which means you need to get the proper range of motion in order to lift. So for a bench press example, I know there's some people that get the bar out here and they don't have the mobility to get to their chest because they're so tight. Same thing with a squat. Tightness in the shoulders, they can't get the bar on their back. Even if they're doing like a bodyweight squat, they don't have the mobility to get all the way to depth. I know when I was fixing my squat, I was looking at myself and I'm like, I'm not getting to depth even without the weight. So before I could even go heavy and before you could even go heavy, make sure that you got the proper mobilization in your body, the proper flexibility and mobility in order to do the work without even any weight. That should be your first thing. Next thing you want to look for is the ability to stabilize your body under stress. So with that weight on your back, if you're squatting or if that you're holding, if you're benching or whatever you're doing, you need to be able to stabilize. So that guy just taking the bar off and him shaking around like this, that's way too heavy for him. You shouldn't be going so heavy that you can't even stabilize your body. This is not as much an issue for people that have been doing it for a while, because usually after a while your body does get that body control. But for beginners and even some intermediate, if they never learn properly, you're going to see this sometimes. So make sure your body can stabilize itself before you do the weight. Next thing you want to look for is your alignment. So if, like that squat example, if you see the person's knees going forward or their body angle just leaning forward or just not doing the exercise correctly. Some people might be getting to depth, but they're rounding their back, or it just looks weird. You don't want to do that either. So you want the proper alignment, you want the proper stability, and you want the proper mobility. Those are your three things that you want to look for before you could even go heavy. So all that stuff I said in the last video does apply, but there are some things that you want to get before you can start to add that weight. Now, what is heavy? Again, for most people's goals, if you're watching this video, you're probably looking to lose weight or gain weight. 8 to 12 is probably going to be your best bet. If you're going for strength, 1 to 5. If you're in that learning stage though, you want to get more reps. If you're just beginning, you might want to go into that 20 rep range, not to get the best results, but to prepare yourself so that you can do the workout that'll get you your best results. I know when I first started, lifting in high school is all about getting that weight up. Same thing in college, all about getting that weight up. Not a lot of attention paid to form, and that's when I hurt myself. It wasn't good. I wish I knew then what I know now. It could have saved myself injury, and I could have been a lot stronger than I was back then. So hopefully this helps so that you don't make the same mistakes I did and make the same mistakes that those guys did that I saw yesterday in the gym. Don't be silly when you get in there. Lift hard, go hard, but lift safe. Safety, form, technique, very important. Don't sacrifice those. You might have to scale the intensity back in the beginning, but in the long run, it's going to allow you to lift more, get more results, get stronger, burn that fat, build up muscle, whatever you want to do. That technique, always going to be there. It's gonna help you with whatever you do. And don't be afraid to scale back. When I was fixing my bench form and my squat form, I had to go real light because I was doing new movements. I was like, my form is jacked. I need to improve on this. And people were looking at me. I'm like, don't worry. I'm gonna get back up to the weights. But so yeah, don't be afraid. Don't let ego get involved. But once you start getting that form, once you start getting this ability, go heavy, push yourself. That's all I got to say for now. I hope you like this video. I hope it clears up some of the things that I said last week. Like this video if you liked it. Share with your friends. Leave a comment. Tell me if you liked it. Tell me if you didn't like it. Tell me if there's things you agree with, disagree with. I want to hear from you. And if you like this channel, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you get my ebook. Great information there as well. Talk a little bit more about technique and cover nutrition, a bunch of other topics. I will see you next time. I am Paul Niyama, Muscle Building Foods, HQ.com.